Our guy, Jeff Hathhorn, he is joining the Fan Morning Show right now. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Morning, Dorn. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I haven't talked to you in a while. You were on vacation. Where were you at again? Because Callis and I were trying to figure this out. Were you in New Zealand? Were you in Australia? Where you were gone for 2 weeks? Where did you go?
Both.
Oh,
Both.
there we go.
It was awesome. I mean, it's winter there. You know, that may not be the greatest, but man, those places are incredible. Just takes like a 14-hour plane ride to get there. That's a bit much.
See, I couldn't do Australia because I've seen pictures and videos of how big the snakes and bugs, and they have great white sharks there. I could never do it. But that flight, is it as brutal as it sounds?
Yes. Yes, it is. Actually, it goes quicker than you think, and it's weird to get meals on planes again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was. The place is spectacular. And here's the weird thing: like New Zealand has no bugs, like no chipmunks, no squirrels. It's like people open their doors and they don't have to worry about anything running in. There's no. It's an amazing place. It really is.
Jeff, I have three major topics that I want to run by you this morning here. We'll start with the Pirates. Do you anticipate them doing anything in the next week or so before the All-Star break?
No.
Wow.
No. And Ben Cherington said that, most GMs right now are focused on the draft. So that's where they're putting the resources. That's where they're putting their time. So he doesn't anticipate league-wide many moves. And I think there's also this thought where they need to see where they're at. These are 3 games with Milwaukee in division. And then they have 3 games, against a team that's horrible in the White Sox. If they do really well, that might alter their opinion. If they do really poorly, that could play into their opinion. Because, once you get out of the All-Star break, then you got Philly and St. Louis. So you're going to go right up against the teams that you're competing against, or teams, with the exception of the White Sox, that are, playoff worthy or playoff, competing to be in the playoffs. So I think there's still work to be done for this team to figure out, like, okay, hey, we really want to go in it and find somebody, or hey, we're just going to stay where we're at and go with the internal options.
Jeff, outside of the pitching and Mitch Keller, Skeens, and Jones, and outside of Brian Reynolds, who do you give the next highest grade to throughout the first half of the season? Like, who's the next best and surprising player that has been pretty decent up to this far?
I guess I would say Nick Gonzalez, because he was kind of, left to the side. He was part of that second base battle out of training camp and started the year in the minors, and you kind of thought, man, here's a first-round pick, just not going to amount to anything. He gets called up after having a really good, start of the season in AAA, and he's been clutch for them. He's driven in a ton of runs for a guy that you thought, isn't going to be a factor. So I think Gonzalez, beyond that, Colin Holderman has had some moments, although he's had a rough, 3 of his last 6 outings. But it's just been inconsistent. Tellez has been hot at times. Guys here and there. Sawinski seems to be swinging it a little bit better, but really beyond that, and that's been their issue. When you're a smaller market team, you've got to have contributions from a lot of players, and you've got to do those little things right. And I think that's what frustrates the fans is when you do those. We can get picked off bases, drop pop-ups, drop third strikes. Those type of things can't happen for this team.
Jeff Hathhorn brought to you by Gutter Helmet. No more clogged gutters, no more overflows, no more ladders. Gutter Helmet, 888-5 helmet. Jeff, Cam Sutton suspended 8 games. Do you think the Steelers anticipated this? Do you think that they were prepared whenever they did sign Cam Sutton that he was going to be suspended this long? And now where does that leave them? They obviously have 2 major holes now, at least for the first half of the season. But you think that the Steelers anticipated this being the end to what the whole Cam Sutton situation was going to be?
Well, Mike Tomlin talked when they signed Sutton about, hey, we did our due diligence on this situation, and that's why we still brought him in. I would hope that due diligence came with the realization that he's going to lose some time. How much? They probably didn't know, but they had to think that he wasn't going to be available for the start of the season. It's a kick in the teeth from the standpoint where, he could really help settle some things down in that secondary. And you're going to start, the first half of the year with having those same questions without him in there. Have they done enough? I mean, it depends on if a couple of these young guys step up, but probably not, no, to calm down that secondary. I mean, Sutton's going to be a nice add. It's one of those things where you kind of wish you could switch it and he could play the first half of the season, then suspend him for the second half, where Corey Trice can get some experience and see where he's at. But I would anticipate they're going to make some little move, either in or heading into training camp, or they take a shot on a veteran. Who knows? Maybe this opens the door for a Pat Pete to return.
That's exactly what I was about to ask you. I mean, this kind of really just, if you sniff around and you kind of look at the situation, it does seem like a Patrick Peterson type deal where he will take a smaller amount of money just to come back and to be, that guy for them. And will that be okay enough for their situation? For them to last all the way until Cam Sutton comes back. And I mean, I don't know this question. I don't know this answer to this, but you might know it. Can he practice? Can he be around? Or does he have to be away from the Steelers?
So Sutton can't be around the team. He could be there for training camp.
Okay.
He could be there leading up to the first week of the season. And once they get into preparations for week one, he's not allowed to be around the team. So now could he, still be in contact but he's not going to get those physical reps. I'm sure he'll get, his game plans and he'll learn as much as he can remotely, but no, he won't be allowed to be around the guys. So there's none of that, at least being in practice. Is just going to be him going up to camp and then him rejoining, much like, was with KZ a few, 2 years ago,
yep,
when he was suspended.
Last question for you, Jeff. Sidney Crosby contract, you worried at all, or is this kind of just, it's taking its time and they'll get something done where he'll be here forever?
Yeah, and I saw Rob Rossi's report that they're closing in. I would be immensely shocked if he is not with the Penguins for the rest of his career. I think this is something that gets done. I don't know what's holding it up, or what, if there's still a lot of hard negotiating, or if it's just that, Sid's been busy doing a lot of other stuff and they just haven't, been able to have that moment where they sit down and finalize it. But I just don't see at this point in his career him looking to go somewhere else. Now, maybe he wants some guarantees for the club of things that he would like. But I just don't see this being a contentious situation. And I would see him like Mario, like Ben, like a lot of superstars, that he's going to finish his career in Pittsburgh, because his priorities are, I mean, he wants to win. Let's be real about that. But, he has this thing. He's comfortable in Pittsburgh. He loves his routine. I would be floored if he was even considering other options and teams. I think it's just getting that contract exactly how he wants it.
Thank you, Jeff. I think we'll talk to you, Thursday? Crowley will be back, but
Yes,
appreciate you. Yeah, it's good talking to you. I'm glad you had fun and didn't get bit by any crazy animals or insects in Australia.
Thanks, Dorn.
Thanks, Jeff. There he goes, Jeff Hathhorn. Yeah, he was in both cows. Look at that. We were both right. That's what I thought. I thought he was in New Zealand. He said it was wintertime. I thought he was skiing.
We talked about it too, so I was hoping I didn't, hoping I was listening enough.
Yeah, you were.
That would have looked bad.
Yeah.